Tom wrote a book, and he wants you all to buy it. The name of the book is The Djinn Chronicles Volume 1 Growth. It's part 1 of a trilogy. It's available on Amazon. Go read it.
Don't forget to subscribe for more reviews. Please also like. Thank you.
Hello there everyone, Tom here again, and today we have the privilege of taking a look at the third release from Kang Toys. This is their Firmament, I think is how you pronounce that. It's Dive Bomb. So here's the front of the box, side, back of the box, side, top of the box, and the bottom. Now I know this isn't my normal angle to do this. This is because the box is rather large, it takes up the majority of my table, and since I've switched to an arm instead of a tripod for the camera, it makes it a little bit difficult. So we'll make do. We'll suffer through. Opening it up, we get instruction sheets and a card, and we get pretty. Here, let's see if I can get this up to where you all can see it. Alright. So that's what the box looks like, and I've said it before, I firmly believe packaging is important. If you've seen the Lemon Tree review, the Lemon Tree Shockwave review, then you know that the packaging was damaged. I would not have had concerns about it if it had been this type of packaging. And to be fair, I'm willing to pay a little extra just for this type of packaging, so I know that my figures, when they arrive, will be in good shape. So, we get two guns, and we'll look at all this in detail here in a little bit. We get a sword, which is apparently the mate to this one. I can only imagine that they'll have something that'll go in between them. We get another hand, which is the mate to this one, and I'm actually looking forward to figuring out how they combine together, because I know they can do that. I'll see if I can make that happen on this video. We get the wings, and the wings are large. Coming right out of the packaging, we're looking at 12 inches from here to here. And again, just out of the packaging, 6 inches wide. So they're very nice, very large. Alright, we get two of those. And the figure itself. So this has come off. And this has come off. I'll take a look at it and figure out where that stuff goes here in a little bit. So, in the event that there are things underneath the styrofoam, I'll pull it out and look at it, and from this point I'm going to pause here, put on his accessories, and take a look and go from there. Alright, so out of the box we get the figure here, we get the two wings, there's two of them. We get the guns, and I said I'd look at the guns. They separate a little bit better. Here they are. They're under slung, so he's supposed to hold them underneath. They come in at approximately 4 1/4 inches. We get a hand and the sword. Now, one thing I will notice, I will point out, is this is a sword that goes in this bracket right here, and it comes in and it plugs in right here. He's supposed to have 2 of these, and he does not. I got this from TF Direct, and I've contacted them. I'll let you all know, say in the comment section or something, what the end result of this is, because he doesn't look right without his wings. Here, let me wings slide on just like this. Just like that. Very easy mechanism. And here he is. Let me zoom out. There he is, fully winged up. Is that the right word? Wing articulation. These come all the way down. Except for this one. This one does not go down. It will go up. Whoa. But it won't go down. He is slightly back heavy with these. This moves up and down. You get the same articulation. Oh boy. The wing can move on that joint like that. This moves up and down as well as a unit, as you can see on that hinge there. So there's always that. And then this right here can move in and out independently of this joint. So yeah, it can also come forward like this. So there's lots of articulation on these wings. I'm going to simply remove them for now for the sake of my review table. It's probably better for us all. His gun, he has the palm in the hand here. So will it palm in? It's supposed to. It does. It stays in there. You can wrap the fingers around it, and he has his weapon, and it is a nice weapon. Looks good in his hand. Setting those aside, let's cover articulation. It will be slightly different because the wings are not there, but just bear with me here. Also, those pieces that came off, it was this back piece right here and this shoulder piece, they just snapped right back in, so it wasn't a big deal. This can come all the way up if you want that look, but I don't. Head goes all the way around. It's also on a joint in here, which means you can actually lift the head up if you want to. So he can look like all the way down. I mean, all the way. So there's always that. Also, if you don't get it just right, it looks unsightly with that ball joint there. So push the head back and down and you get the proper joint. The arm, nice little ratchet, can come all the way up. Elbow goes all the way around. You can rotate the elbow, the arm all the way. You get bicep rotation right here just above the elbow. You saw the 90-degree elbow. The wrist can turn all the way around. Fingers can open up. He has typewriter syndrome, if y'all can see that. And the thumb has 2 joints. Yeah, a joint here and a joint here. So he can make a fist, and that's all good. Alright, let's get the arms out of the way. Also, this part right here plugs in, and it does have a tendency to come loose. Just be mindful of that. Waist articulation, you can go all the way around. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit different with the wings on, but that's okay, as it is for now. The legs can go that far forward. Get this out of the way, and they can go that far back. So he's not going to do the full splits. Out to the side, that's as far as he can go. Thigh swivel is built around a universal joint right there. You get, his knees are funny. This will unplug if you're not careful, so you got to kind of hold it to get access to the knee, but you do get 90 degrees from it. And it is a double jointed knee. The feet can go that far that way, that far that way. They can go up that far, back a little bit, and the toes can splay out into a nice wide stance. Now for robot mode, this is supposed to be up, the heel spur. One of the things I've noticed is when he has his wings, you kind of need this to ensure the fact that he will actually stand up. Otherwise, he won't. Alright, so he has some wonderful details on him. Let's see if I can raise this up just a little bit, and maybe I can show off his highlight. Can you see his eyes lighting up? Yeah, I'm not much on light piping for eyes on some of these figures, but I do get it. Let me zoom in here and we can take a look at some of the details on him. So as you can see, he has some really nice coloring. I mean, just look at the detail on this thing. We've got Tampo paint here, Tampo paint here, Tampo paint here, Tampo paint here, here is all Tampo. This is clear plastic. This is Tampo down here. Paint, Tampo, 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 Tampo. Yeah, he's really nice. Why don't we back out? We're going to do scale comparison here. He comes in at just shy of 10 inches tall. Shoulder to shoulder, we're looking at about 5.5 inches, and depth wise, his feet are the biggest thing on him. They're 4 inches. Alright, so we're going to do scale comparison and then we'll transform it. Oh, yeah, we'll do scale comparison, then we'll transform. Okay, so transforming this thing is not horribly difficult, but it is slightly involved. Only in that there's a couple of places that you have to make sure you've got your stuff in just the right spot. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take off these wings. Maybe. Now you can transform this without taking off the wings, but it is, I'm recommending it. It just makes it so much easier. So also, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've taken the one sword off. I kind of like symmetry. So the first thing we want to do is the upper body. So what we have to do is we have to take this arm joint here, which comes out on this aperture that you can see here. We have to take this and we have to basically swap these two spots. So we pull this down and rotate it around so that this can come loose. And it's connected right here with these. There are, as you can see, pins and ports. Swing this one around. Double hinges. And just leave that right there for right now. Do the same thing on this other side. Oh, and just kind of rotate that out of the way. So we unplug it right here, rotate it down so that we have clearance to swing this other one around. Like that. And that's good. Now, push these shoulder pauldrons here all the way up. Push this all the way up if it's not already that way. Come here and open this up and tuck your fist in. Now your fist has to go a certain way, and it looks just like this. Close that up. The hardest part of changing this back for me is the fists. Come under here and lift these up like this, and there's a tab here that you'll need when we make the collar for the bird head. I have discovered it's easier if we extend the waist. You don't have to have it for this, but if you do it now, it just makes it easier later. Go ahead and rotate these. There is a tab right here. It's going to go into this port right here. Just comes in and just plugs right in like it was made for it. Haha. Alright, now we need to rotate these things around because we want this to come up and be just like this. Let's see if we can do that again. Rotate it around and plug it in. These do not connect together, and I kind of wish they would. It might make it just a tinge more solid. Not to say it's not solid, it'd make it a little bit more solid. Now, there is a pin hole right here. Can you all see? It's going to go into this screw, this pin right here on both sides. So you just got to angle it, kind of eyeball it until you can get it in there, and it'll stay fairly well. Rotate it around on this side and do the very same thing, and they will stay together fairly well. You can bring these up at this time, should you so desire. Now for the bird head. This bit right here, stay together. Sorry folks, I don't normally have this much trouble getting this thing in there. Get in there. There we go. This thing right here is going to come around, and you see it's cut for that. Pull that up, pull the head up, rotate it around. That's going to make the lower jaw for the bird. Now, pull these back. This comes up, and there are little pins right here that I know you can't really see, but they go into these little slots right here, and that's what holds the neck in place. Let's see if I can get that on camera. There's one there. And there's one here, and they just come in and hold it in place. Take your bird head, pull it back like that, pull it down, and then it's just a matter of maneuvering everything until it gets the way you want it for the beak and whatnot. Now for the lower body, what we do is basically pull everything up and rotate it out of the way. What we are going to do is unplug this right here. It just plugs in with this little pin and a port system right here. We are going to pull this up so that it clears the little thing here, rotate it out of the way, and then we are going to rotate on this. This is die cast. We're going to bring it all the way up until this bit right here, this pin, will set in this groove. You'll see. Pull it up and down and rotate it inward. I'm sorry, I meant this groove. So if this doesn't line up with this, you're not done with it yet. So that means it's got to go on up and down. Now see how it lines up right? And how it will just collapse in, and then you just collapse it back together. Bring your foot down here, bring it in like that, and this is basically one leg done. pull up your hip skirts here, makes it a little easier. So let's do that again on this side this time. We're going to open that up, rotate this out of the way, bring this forward, this hinge here, until this is going to line up with that. Which I got to tell you, it's easier to tell you how to do it than it is to actually try and do it on camera. Alright, tell me, boy, what'd you do wrong here? Something's just not adding up right. There we go. It's all in how you hold your jaw, as my dad used to say. Pull that down and down. Now these two, there is a pin and a port, and they do go together, and they will lock together fairly well. There is a slight problem with that though, and we'll show it here in a second. Now we take this part and pull it apart from here. We bring it down, and if it's done correctly, these slots here will go into this, and they'll just kind of sit there. They don't lock in or anything. Expand these. And we need to get our waist back together here, just like that. And here is effectively the bird mode, sans the wings. Now, I'll put the wings on here in a second, but this is fine. But what I have discovered is if you unclip it there, lift this up a little bit so it'll rotate some, you can get a much broader stance and a better view of it. So at this point, I'm going to put the wings on. I'm not going to promise this is in frame, but I will try. Alright, there's that one. And there's that one. That piece just fell off. It does that. It's just a clip peg. There we go. Alright. And here is old dive bomb in its bird mode. Now, rotate these, flip these out. It just gives it a little flare. That's all it is. Both sides, like extra foot feathers. I guess that's important. Alright. And here he is in his bird mode. And I'll take pictures and everything, but he will stand. You just got to kind of position him properly. Don't forget your heel spur, talon. He will stand. I've just not got it secured properly for some reason. There we go. And he's a big boy. He is a big boy. Never a tape measure when you want one. Okay, so from here to here, we're looking at about a 2-foot wingspan. Right here, we're looking at about 10 inches. So he's a good-sized figure. Let's do some scale comparisons, and then we'll put him in arm mode. Alright, so we're going to take a minute and we're going to look at this hand. And it's the same hand that we got with the other one. But now we got 2 of them. So we're going to put these things in crab mode. First thing we do is we come here and we lift this up, rotate it, and pull it all the way down like this. There is a latch right here. Come in and just, excuse me, pop that open. This will swing down and around. This will come down. You have to have this at a flat angle or this will not work. Alright, now it's just a matter of rotating this and this on this ball joint so that you get sort of a crab-like configuration here, kind of like this right here. And that's 1/2 of the crab mode. Do the same thing on the other side. Pick this up, rotate this around, bring this all the way out and down, unpeg right here, swing this up and over, bring it down, bring it down. The instructions say to rotate this part right here, and you can, but mine was already rotated, so maybe there was something they planned to do that they didn't do. I don't know. I wasn't involved in those meetings. They didn't ask me, and that's good enough. Let's see, this comes around like this. This comes around. This comes around. And you get a little claw here. Okay. Now, we take these 2 halves, and there's a slot. There's a slot and a pin on both sides. It's a simple thing once you do it, and then you just rotate your fingers until you get them to where they will support the weight, and you get your little crab. And I mean, it works fine. He comes in at about 5.5 inches. From here to here, he's about 3 inches. And the height will vary based on, you know, what you want to do with it. So this is an unnecessary thing, but it is nice. I do kind of like it. If you're curious, here it is next to a gun to give you scale comparison. Yeah, this thing's fine. It's fine. It's something they didn't have to do. It's something they did do. I kind of like it. All right. So okay, so this is arm mode, and I've done my best to get it the way I think it's supposed to go. Sadly, the directions aren't quite as thorough as I would prefer, but in this mode you do get your rotation here. You also get rotation up here as well. You do get it. It's just stiff. This connector bit is extremely stiff, and I'm hoping it will loosen up a little bit with time. May not, don't know. It has a tendency to not want to stay together. And this little tab here, not the greatest, but it's functional. I think this will be fine. I do wish that the directions were a bit more detailed as far as what we're looking for with this mode, because I think I've got it, but I may have it upside down. I mean, there's not really a good picture in the instructions to tell you what you're supposed to be doing with this thing. And I see that as a concern. Rather major one. Alright, so I'm going to show you how to get into this mode, and then we're going to go into final thoughts. So transforming him into arm mode isn't really difficult, but there are some challenging moments when you get down to the legs. I've gone ahead and I've taken these off. These are just the parts for the wings. We'll need them for Pretty King himself, so I'm just setting them aside for the moment. I suppose the simplest and easiest thing to do will be the arms first. This port right here connects to this tab, so we need to put the fist away, lock it down, pull this up, and just disconnect that right there. This will then spin around like that, and that will cover down. And believe it or not, that's kind of that part of the arm. The directions show this whole big thing, and I think it's because it goes from bird mode to robot to arm mode. I don't know for sure, but this is, it seems to me a lot easier to go from robot mode to arm mode. And it's primarily just because most everything is already flushed out so that you can just, you know, put it up there and you don't have to take the time to turn it back into a robot, because it is already a robot and those pieces are already there. Get in there, you. I will say, one of the things I've noticed about this is that not all the pieces stick together the way that you expect them to, and that is unfortunate. Next, pop up your head here, rotate this around, and if you notice there is a peg right there. It's going to plug into that little spot right there, but it's not the greatest plug-in. Lift your beak up here. It's not the greatest. It's more of a suggestion than an actual plug-in, but it is effective. It will keep it there if you don't mess with it too much. Next, we need to lift up the combiner port, and for some reason mine is like way tight. Scary tight. You know, you're thinking you're going to break it tight. So it will go. You just gotta get her started and then turn it. That's pretty scary tight. Pull this out as far as it'll go, and you'll hear it snap, and that's when you have access to both of the ratchet joints. Now, basically what we have to do is pull all this stuff up, get it out of the way, as high out of the way as you can get it. Open up your legs if they haven't already come undone. Lift this up and around and get it completely out of the way. You can go ahead and close up your foot if you want. It doesn't really matter. We need to, at this time, bring this up and think, Tommy boy. Okay, this comes around like we were transforming it into like arm mode or something. Yeah, like arm mode. This bar has to go across that depression, and there's something in the directions about this centerpiece here, but I can't find it. I'm not sure exactly what we're supposed to be doing with that. I have run across that a couple of times with this figure. I can't, the directions will reference something, but I can't seem to find exactly what it is it's talking about. So we just do the best we can, right? This is basically one of them. Some way or another you're supposed to, this thing right here has a peg right there. Can you all see it? And it's supposed to go in this, as far as I can tell by the directions, but mine never does. I've never been able to successfully get it in that peg. It comes close, but it doesn't actually go in it, and I can only conclude that it's just being persnickety. So for now, we're just going to leave that alone. Come back here to this other one, pop that open, rotate this around, get that out of the way. Alright, now rotate it so that your bar will line up the way that you're supposed to here. Remember, we're doing this bar and this depression. So if you notice, it's not right now. It's got to go up more. Now it's right. Okay, that'll lock into place. These two here will come around and they will lock back here the way that you would naturally think that they would. However, it's not the strongest connection I've ever seen in my life. So my hand is come loose here. I'm going to take the hand, after I fix it, there we go. I'm going to take the hand and I'm going to go ahead at this time and put it into place so that it will help secure them. And if you look at it, there's only two ways it can go, so you can't really mess it up. I mean, I guess you could if you practiced at it, but that's what you'd have to do, would be practice at it to mess it up. And it just slides down right here like that, and that will help keep everything solid. Now, as I said, these come down. What I typically do is I just pull these up like this, if for no other reason than just to get them out of the way. The directions show these around, coming down and then back up like this, and that is effectively hand mode. Now, I may have, again, I fully grant I may have something wrong. This is not the first time I have done something incorrect on one of these combiners. But I have to tell you, I'm probably going to put mine on him like this. It works. He has full functionality of all the joints, and honestly, I kind of like this. Now, I'm not sure exactly where the big cannons are going to go on it. I'm sure there is something. I'm sure there is some way to attach these at some point to him. But then again, you never know. These may just be part of a big gun. We don't know. And I haven't found a place for this yet, so I can only conclude that it goes on the wings. That is this guy in combine mode. Final thoughts wise, this guy's big, he's imposing, he has quite a presence on a shelf or just on my review table. The playability with him, he can be kind of challenging to get from mode to mode, but other than that, not necessarily anything bad. I did have this part fall off, and for the life of me, I can't figure out where it went to. It's obviously a vital part, obviously, but again, I couldn't find a corresponding one, so I have no clue where it goes. The materials feel good. They don't feel like they're going to break. The combiner port is slightly problematic, and that needs to be addressed in some manner. I suppose I could pull it apart, heat the spring, but I really don't want to do that. The cost, if I remember correctly, this thing was $100, maybe 110. It wasn't all that expensive in relation to what we're getting. For $100, he's pretty close to perfect. He's not perfect, but he's pretty close, and he's close enough for me to be okay with. Now, if this was my first Transformer, would I buy another one? Are you seeing this? Yes, he didn't fall apart. His materials are good. He has a lot of presence, and you know the most important thing, my wife looked at it and she said she liked it. Now, for those of you who are married, you collect in this area, you probably know just exactly how rare that statement can be. I like him. He's pretty. Yep. I guess that's all I got. Do you want me to throw you off, Nemesis? I can do that. You haven't really said anything that's offended me yet. Nope. This time, I think I'm just going to walk away. What can I say? Even Nemesis didn't cause a problem for him. This is Tom. Thanks for watching. I'm looking forward to the other 3 of these, and I'll see you at the next review.
Thank you for watching my Papa's channel. Please subscribe and like. Thank you.
Vitamin John. operators are standing by.